second of Love and Action Deconstruction Junction podcast. I'm Dr. Flo, not telling you what I heard, but what I know. What I heard was that Stephen Miller is 4'8". That is not true. But what I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable. And you're always going to be loved and lovable for the rest of your life. And every week at about this time, Tara Parolo Studio and I come together to release our words, our private thoughts, and the things we are deconstructing about trends, rumors, and just general life. And we have a lot of conversations in peer support spaces. We have a lot of private meetings to increase the mutual support vibes in the network and mutual protection vibes in the network. And this is just a spillover of what Tara would call the overflow of what we're talking about to bring liberation to the people in our zip codes, but also in our network at large. And it is a thrill of mine as Chief Love Officer to encourage, equip, and empower the bold dreamers all over the planet to use their time, talent, and treasure for good just for today as we walk through the planet together. And of course, we're joined by Tasha herself. Tara Parolo Studio, introduce yourself to the folks. I'm going to share out on the internet where we are. And who are you and what are you bringing to bear today?
Hello, puppets. I did go on Do Not Disturb, so y'all aren't going to hear the WhatsApp go off, but you can join if you would like. I'm Tara Priolo. I am your resident Black, biracial, multi-passionate musician. I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. I am also, as Dr. Flo reminded me yesterday in a private conversation, which was peer support and group therapy, but one-on-one, that I am the owner-operator of Tara Priolo Studio, which provides services to release your entanglements, girly pops, like in a whole bunch of areas. So if you're interested in singing or branding or DEI or anything that you perceive that I can help you with, including bringing your joy forward, hit me up. And you can find me on the same website, lovedandlovable.bio.link or tarapriolo.com/links, and that'll all get you there. Or just send me a DM, Tara Priolo Studio. All right. We would also love to hear from you on this podcast or a different version of the podcast if you have something that you like really are into and you want it lifted and you're just like, I don't really know how to do this myself. Dr. Flo is a phenomenal interviewer and is actually very curious about people and would love to do some of those podcasts with you all to lift both your products, your services. See, Moose agrees. Okay, Moose lifted his head to say Dr. Flo is great. So we would love to have you.
I love you, Bubba's.
We'd love to have you on the Love and Action podcast and vlog series, newsletter. We would love to lift that for you. I also have a portion of my own newsletter on Lift Every Voice where I highlight community web members. So if you're interested in being on that, you are more than welcome to shoot me a DM or talk to Dr. Flo and we'll get you where you need to go. And so that is why there's a your name here. If you would like to come deconstruct with us, you have current topics, you have things going on in your life that you're like, oh, I think this is because of the system. And I'd like to talk about how I've overcome it or how I'm in the middle of it or how I'm at the beginning of it or how I just don't think this is quite right. We would love to have that conversation. And feel free as you're watching this, if you're watching this in real time or a replay, go ahead and give us some comments, give us some engagement, let us know you're here. You are loved and lovable, and we look forward to hearing all of the things about you and what you think about what we're saying. I think I'm up first again, per usual.
I just want to interject and just say that it has been a thrill to unpack these big ideas in bite-sized pieces with you over the last 100 weeks of our programming.
Long time.
Tara and I are celebrating. We've been together longer than that in this work, but this particular stint, along with Poppy Water 33, who's one of our leadership architects here in the network, we are in week 100 of producing podcast and television shows to uplift people and to deconstruct the world as we see it. And there are people who don't do things for 100 seconds, 100 minutes, or 100 days. But we as a network have been here week after week for 100 weeks over many state lines, over many moods
For sure.
still making this happen for the greater good of the people and getting into good trouble. And speaking of good trouble, she is up.
All right, y'all. Ceasefire deal in Gaza. Many of you will know I'm kind of just reporting the news. The next slide is a screenshot of the Reuters um, article, which is just saying that a ceasefire deal, Israel and Hamas signs Gaza ceasefire deal, ceasefire and hostage deal. Essentially, Trump, Bibi Netanyahu was here in the country. Um, they negotiated something where Hamas was going to hand over all of the hostages, and Israel would maintain partial control over Gaza. And basically, that was it. Like, that's at least that's what I read. Now, the following slide is what has happened in the last few hours. Um, so, a reminder: Israel breaks the ceasefire every time. Israel breaks the treaties every time. Israel aggresses. Israel abuses and cages and tortures and murders. Israel violates. Israel does not see Palestinians as human. Israel is the cruel child burning what it horrifically views as ants under a magnifying glass. We have no evidence that a state which has committed genocide for many years will uphold a ceasefire which hasn't even been voted on by their security cabinet. All eyes on Gaza. And what I can tell you is right before we got on here, within the last hour, Israel is still continuing to bomb. Bisan has posted into her broadcast channel on Instagram, as well as another place that I follow daily updates from Palestine. You can share both of those on my stories if y'all are interested. And we could certainly put the link somewhere. Just remind us. But essentially, the genocide is not over until the Palestinians say it's over. Until we hear it from them, it's not over. And we should continue putting pressure on our government to cease sending weapons as well as funding to Israel. I also saw a breaking news that I read out to Flo that it does sound like the gates have been open and the Red Cross was able to get in to Gaza. But it's still up in the air. And like it said, Israel has broken the deal every single time, right? So
It's wild that they want to harm people with impunity.
right.
Do they really expect us to just stand around and allow innocents to be slaughtered? Do they
That's why
expect us?
somebody made the connection the other day that all this stuff with TikTok being banned and unbanned and banned and unbanned and all this stuff was because of the direct result of the Palestinians getting traction on TikTok and it radicalizing Americans into where we are now, which is, a decent sum of people calling for the ceasefire and calling for the end of genocides across the world. And so TikTok got a little too free. And the government didn't like that because the government is really controlled by a lot of Israeli funding and money, right? So,
Deep suppression, which is why if you're out there listening to our podcast today on Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Substack, Facebook, YouTube, and beyond, we invite you into our private, intimate online communities and groups, because those are the spaces where we really are free enough to talk and connect. TikTok is not free. Facebook is not free. YouTube is not free. All the platforms I mentioned are not free spaces. And some of you all want to whisper and pretend like harm is not being caused. And Tara and I and our network are not the types of people that are going to let you bully and harass and cause harmful conditions for loved and lovable humans and not say something. And it's wild that all of these platforms, Threads and beyond, are aiding and abetting people who are bullies and harming towards humanity. We are a human first network. We love and honor and dignify everybody as human. We're not putting up with your bad behavior. We're not putting up with your attitude. We're not condoning your bullshit. Stomp around some more. We don't care.
right.
We're committed to encouraging, equipping, and empowering people, and this is part of it. And of our friend network, We are two of the few. We're not better than anybody. We're just different. But within our zip codes and within our friend groups, we are two of the few who actually go live daily, if not weekly, to speak up for humans and their dignity and their deserving of love. Even in my casual conversations with people who want to complain about their personal lives and tell me what's going on, and me complaining about my personal life with them, ain't nobody talking about love for all. Ain't nobody talking about honoring everybody. Y'all love to come to a TikTok or come to a clubhouse and be nosy about my life, but you're not doing anything to honor the dignity of life as it stands for everyone. And we see you too, girl.
Indeed.
What have you done for us lately? Which leads me to my slide today about community protection. Hello, Snapchat. It's so good to see you. You're loved and lovable. Go on, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. I want to do a video.
Hold on.
Yes.
I did do a video. Here we go. Say hi to Snapchat.
Hello, Snapchat. You're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable. You always be loved and lovable. And Tara and I are doing the work of love. Lovedandlovable.bio.link. Can't wait to see you there.
Cute.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
So, community protection, y'all. Asada said it best. May she rest in power. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and protect one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains. I'll say it one more time for those of you listening in the back on the podcast. It is our duty to fight for our freedoms. It is our duty to win. We must love and protect one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains. And community protection is being disrupted right now, you guys. It is being disrupted by gossip, community casual violence, bullying, and harassment in all industries at every level. And while I can't go into explicit details today about what's happening to me personally, I want you to know that Tara and I see your mention. Tara and I are committed to protecting one another. Not only are we committed to protecting one another, we're committed to protecting our families and those in our families. And we're also committed to protecting our legacy as it relates to what we're doing here on the planet October 9th, 2025. When they look back into the nano time capsule, because by the time we finish here on the planet, everything's going to be just put into a little microchip. You'll have millions of years of data in a little microchip. And when they scan that and the hologram pops out and our generations upon generations upon generations of people in the future say, what was great grandma Tara doing in the year of our Lord 2025? And what was Dr. Flo and Poppy Wada doing in the year of our Lord 2025? We'll be saying things like, we didn't come to simply stop the wheel, but to break it. We're not here to stop the violence or to stop the madness. We're here to break the institutions that cause harm on people who just want to be happy, healthy, free, and loved and lovable. And I want y'all to know today, without going too far into the details, you can actually be attacked for employing the protection of your community. They will try to make you the aggressor for standing up for what is right in the society at large. Non-specific. Have you ever put your neck out for someone else only to have your head removed?
Well, that happened during the uprisings, right? How many people were met with rubber bullets protesting for state murder to end?
That priest that got shot in the head 7 times this week with rubber bullets.
Yep.
Advocating for illegal detainees under our government at the hands of ICE.
Right.
And this is what people are afraid of. there was a streak of fear that ran through me yesterday as I decided to love and protect my partner. I had to make a choice. And we talk a lot in our network about choices. Tara's forthcoming book, released 2032, with a forward from Dr. Flo, is going to be all about choices and the choices she made throughout her life over the last 3 decades to become the owner and proprietor and change maker and movement maker that she is. Not becoming, that she is. Choices matter. The ways in which we show up and choose to protect our community in loving and honoring ways. Nothing that I do, I can be a sassy bitch, but the things I do these days are very honorable and loving of the people who I love and that I'm called to serve. And when people try to twist your community protection into something that is erroneous, violent, evil, aggressive, so community protection is essential. And pardon me, y'all, there was a knock at the door. And how we show up matters, not only for who we are today, but also for the legacy of the people who come after us. How do you feel today and most days about community protection? When I say the words community protection, what does that mean to you, Paolo?
I think community protection means just being ready, right? Dr. Fuller talks about this a lot in terms of singing, but like to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. It's always just being vigilant that you are prepared to make the phone calls, that you're prepared to go in action. Something that I comment on a lot, because a lot of my audience is white people that are seeking to, or hopefully seeking to, I don't know why you'd follow a girl like me if you weren't, but seeking to be awakened, seeking to join the fight, seeking to make the world a better place, right? But something that I always point out to them is that Black people, by and large, are ready to go. Like before we even know the race of the person that was unalived by the state, we are on the street. Like we're gone, right? We got the merch, we got the t-shirts, we got the writings, we got the
We
signs.
correction, we were on the street until we realized that they were trying to stoke us and to put us into a psychological operation to create this race war situation that isn't real.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah,
there's still a lot of Black people on the streets because that is a propaganda being used to silence Black people too, right? So like that is like I think there's a mix, and I think it's just yeah, I think there's a lot of confusing takes. Like even with the Trey Reed situation, there's a person on the internet named Keandria, um, and she's like, apparent. She claims she's in contact with the people handling the case and that the autopsy results actually haven't come back. That's those second autopsy results, which was carried by a couple singular kind of offshoot news stations last weekend, alleging the exact opposite of what the police had said. And so it was very interesting to see that happen. So it's just, like, and I've seen the disinformation stuff that was on Twitter coming over to Threads lately. And I just, it's an interesting conversation because I do see a lot of Black people say, we're not going to go on the streets, and then I see a lot of Black people saying, no, we need to go to the streets because that's just fear mongering and telling us, they're going to, if and this is what we said about martial law when he came back into office. If they're going to instate martial law, they're going to do it whether or not we're on the streets. They're going to do it anyway, right? If they wanted to call the police, they would have done it. If they wanted to call the police, they would have done it, right? If they wanted to harm you, they would do it anyway. If they want to call you anti-Semitic, if they want to call you racist, they're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway. So you might as well stand up and be ready. And that's kind of the way that I've viewed things lately is like, nah, like I know what to do in a crisis situation. I have been taught well. I know how to get myself out. I know when it's time to go and I know when to stay, right? And I know when to stay in the fight and I know how to make a phone call and I know how to be professional and I know how to push buttons and I know these things, and that's because I've been put into those situations. And until you have decided, like, to me, community protection is deciding that you are going to put yourself in those situations as a person with privilege, right? Like the other day, last weekend, my community protection last week, I got a text from a Latin person that I knew, a coworker that I trust with Piper's life and that I trust just generally, lives pretty near me, right? She texted me. She said, "Hey, I saw this post on Facebook. I don't know if it's true, but it's by us and it says that ICE is here. And I'm too scared to go down there. I'm too scared to let my kids out of the house. I'm too scared." And I said, "Don't worry, baby. I got you. I got the privilege in this situation. Let me just drive over there. I don't got the baby. I'm good. Like something happens to me, I got my people. I sent them the stuff. We're good. I'm gonna go check. I'm gonna go drive around. I'm gonna go check." I got over there and said, "Ain't nobody over here. Looks good to me. There's kids playing in the in the park. I got eyes on them. There's adults here. We're good." Then I drove up the street a little ways to go to the bank. There was an extra police presence. And I said, "But you know what? I think I would avoid this area for a bit because I don't know what these cars are. There looks like there's a couple unmarked, there's a couple marked. I don't like that. So stay home." That's community protection, right? That's hopping in your car as the person with privilege to go help in any way that you can because you are trained to be in that situation because you have put yourself in the situation before. And that's the step that most people won't take, right? The step that most people won't take is even picking up the phone and making that phone call. The step that most people won't take is to download 5calls.org and call your representatives. The step that most people won't take is signing up for the 5051 protests and getting the text messages about it. That's the step people don't take. You gotta stay ready so you don't gotta get ready. I knew exactly what to do when that person texted me. I knew exactly what to do. I'm gonna text my people out of town, give them my location on multiple platforms, and I'm going to tell this person that because I have the privilege, I'm going to get in my car and drive over there and just see what's going on. Because if that person is scared and there is another person that is being taken off the street and kidnapped, I can step in because our police presence in Minnesota has been directed by our government to not assist ICE. I have the privilege. So if I got over there and something was happening, you best your bottom dollar I was going to call 911 and get the cops over here, right? And that situation you don't know how to handle unless you are consistently putting yourself in those situations in a time of calm. And this is also what I talk about in terms of complacency. Y'all got to stop being like, we got a Democratic president, we got a Democratic president. Like, y'all, if Kamala had been elected, y'all would have sat down on your asses and not called her out on anything. That's what y'all would have done. And y'all got to stop getting complacent like that. Because then in the situations like when 47 gets elected, y'all don't know what to do. You're running around with your heads cut off. Y'all don't know what to do because you didn't stay ready. You set your arms down because Biden was president. That's what happened. That's what happened. Y'all need to protect your communities in times of calm.
So this is a larger conversation around preparedness. There was a
Yeah.
theme running through your sharing now about what it means to be internally prepared for crisis and then prepared in the context of the larger community.
Yep.
Who are you leaning on? Who are you reaching out to for help? Who are you networked with? Who can come to your aid? And yesterday I saw aid from north, south, east, and west. Lots of community protection, lots of horrible advice as well, flying through. But being able to rely on hive mind as it relates to what's good for us, what's leaning into our happy, healthy, and free, very, very important. Speaking of happy, healthy, and free, let's talk about Dolly.
You can go to the next slide. Dolly Parton says, "I ain't dead yet." And PBS said, "Same, Dolly, same," which was reposted by the new host of Reading Rainbow, Michael, who we love here as Michael the librarian. We love him. I'm so excited for that show to come back. I'm so excited to show it to Piper. But basically, what had happened was Dolly Parton's sister. Okay, so Dolly Parton delayed her residency in Las Vegas, and and she said it was a kidney stone, right? So she was like, "I'm just not going to be ready." La, 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 la. And we were all like, "Okay, please don't die," right? Like that was the thing. Like we were all like, "Please, please, please don't die." Then Dolly's sister, who I think her name is Frida, she posted on Facebook like, "I need prayers for my sister." Like overnight, "I need prayers for my sister." And so all of the internet was like, "You will not take Dolly. You will not take this woman in 2025. We are not doing this. We're not doing this." So everybody got upset. And so the next day, Dolly had to make a video like, "Yo, I'm fine. I just got to be near my doctor. Y'all can calm down." But the whole of the internet was just like, especially black people. The black people was like, "You may not have this woman. You may not have her, God. She demand we
Take
need her on earth."
47, but please don't take her.
Right,
And
right.
also, this speaks to the game of telephone. I always joke within the community that life seems like this giant episode of the scene in 101 Dalmatians when all the dogs were just barking and telling each other about, that the lady was coming for the puppies. We're
Yeah,
still, after all these years, still playing as humans a game of telephone where there are
crazy.
people who are out there watching Dolly's sister
Right,
like a hawk
right.
to see what she is doing and then inferring something about Dolly through watching her sister. That's wild to me. And I've had this happen in my life where people will kind of look around. People have looked to you to see how I felt about a
You,
certain
do you know?
situation.
Do you know where Dr. Flo is? I said, I don't know. When she text him? I don't know where Dr. Flo is. I, Your Honor, I don't know where Dr. Flo is. I just have him on 4 different apps and security. Your Honor, I don't know where he is.
Hopefully, he is in his skin. Hopefully. And he's committed to freedom. I want to talk today about being committed to freedom and what that looks like. This also goes back to the community protection piece that we were talking about earlier. Are you really invested in getting free and maintaining that freedom? And I want to talk a little bit today, Tara, about what that means for you. I know that you and our daily peer support groups at 11 a.m. local, which is Eastern, and 10 a.m. Central, you've been bringing to bear, sometimes to the enjoyment of me and sometimes to the chagrin of me, this idea of what it means to be committed to ourselves and committed to our dreams and committed to our relationships and how all of those things contribute to what it means to be free. Could you riff a bit today about what your commitments to freedom look like and how you are maintaining those?
Yeah, well, I said earlier before we got on here, I said some guy told me this week his name is Dr. Flo. He's right there. He's right there. Who said that? Oh my God. Who said it?
Lord, is
He
it you?
Yeah, some dude told me this week that sometimes he gets scared and he just says it anyway. He just says the thing anyway. And I had posted either over the weekend or earlier this week into my stories. I follow a couple really great pages that are like talking about community building. Of course, I can't remember their handles right now, but I had shared one that was essentially like, do you realize that liberation is inconvenient? Like that it's inconvenient not only to the system but to our healing. Like liberation is inconvenient, and until, like we were just talking about in terms of community protection, until we decide to put ourselves in that inconvenient place and that uncomfortable place time and time again, we will not be free. We will not be free because it is a commitment. It is a continuous choice. Do I want to be free today? Do I want to be free in this moment? Do I want to be free in my thoughts? Am I, like, is it true that I have released that thought? Is it unequivocally true? How would I be without that thought? And how would I, like, right? And how does it feel in my body now? And like the more that we continue to go deeper and deeper, and this has been sort of like my thing about finding freedom, and in particular the last like 3-4 weeks, is like the continuous binary that gets set up, right? Like the further I dig, the more I find a binary, right? And then I have to deconstruct that binary, and then once I deconstruct that binary, I find another binary, and then it's like it keeps going on, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, am I committed to to destroying these binaries? Am I committed to breaking them? Am I committed to being in the center of them? Am I committed to seeing the extremes as they are and coming to what is in my center alignment of freedom? Do I feel that in this one? Can I come off the extreme of only one thing being true? Okay, yeah. Okay, then let me commit to this choice of the center, right? My center. Doesn't got to be your center, but it's my center. And that is my freedom, right? And so I just think like when we talk about it, like I think people sometimes think that in the same way that people think that anti-racism is just a thing, right? It's a like you have arrived. Like happiness is a destination, right? That's not actually true. Freedom is a journey. Liberation is a journey. Happiness is a journey, right? Like all of these things it's the journey, which is a continuous choice that you're making to maintain the journey, right? You're making the choice to stay on the path. Like every single time. And I think when we just realize that, like, yeah, sometimes that choice is really inconvenient, and sometimes that choice is going to be really challenged by people near and far, by ourselves, by our heart, by the thing that happens when we fall down the stairs, by the way that our car door handle falls off. Like we're going to be challenged by the inconvenience of being liberated and free in a world that does not want us to be liberated and free, or the world that wants us to believe that a specific strain of success is actually freedom, right? And so the commitment is to the thought of like, what is liberation and freedom to you? And we used to talk about like the success, right? In terms of business, like what is success to you? What is successful business to you? What is this? Like, you have to define this for yourself. And it is inconvenient to define it for yourself. That feels inconvenient. And this is what I'm wrestling with currently. Oh, I think I have the evidence, Dr. Flo. I think I really like, I don't have the evidence for this. And like, you guys talking about me and you tell me I'm so great, but like, it doesn't hold up in court. It doesn't hold up in the online space. And like, nobody's paying attention to me. And I just, am I committed to my freedom? Am I committed to my liberation? Am I committed to my version of the wheel breaking? Am I committed to that? Am I committed to that? Am I sure that I'm committed to that? And every time that I watch Game of Thrones, this is why I watch Game of Thrones over and over, because I wonder to myself every once in a while, like, why is this the show? Right? Like there's two shows that I watch, y'all, that I go back and watch at least once a year. Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. Those are the two shows that I continuously go back to. Why? And I also watch Twister a lot, y'all. But anyway, why do I go back to those two shows? Because they are breaking the wheel of what humanity is currently. Walking Dead in like is not the story of the zombies. It is the story of people. It is the story of relationships under these intense pressures of a world that no longer exists. That's what it's exploring. It has nothing to do with the zombies. The zombies are the byproduct. Zombies are the byproduct. And can you be committed to like the whole storyline of Rick and Michonne is being committed to the openness in this world that wants them to close off and close their borders. And Michonne chooses to be open. And Michonne chooses to go get Rick. There's a whole spinoff of this. Michonne chooses to believe that Rick is alive, and much like Harriet Tubman, she creates the world that Rick is alive, and she finds him and she frees him because she is free. In Game of Thrones, despite the last season, and y'all, if you haven't watched it, don't listen to this part. Dany frees people because she is free, because she broke the wheel, because she doesn't do the things that every other leader does. So, in my definition of freedom and liberation, I do not capitulate to those that are above me. I do not lay down and say that it's okay that you treat me in that way. I do not lay down and say that the amount of money that you are paying me is okay. I do not take no for an answer. You cannot you cannot bring Black music into this school? That is not my reality. That is not my freedom and liberation. So I break this wheel. And that's the commitment. That's where that steps in. And that's why I go back to those shows all of the time, right? All of the time. They're also great cinematography, but like that's just a bonus. It's a bonus.
Where do you watch Walking Dead? 'Cause I'm looking for it. I think it's on Pluto, but am I
Okay,
gonna have to get
so
Netflix for this?
somehow on our YouTubies, if there's a channel, first of all, it's recorded on. I set Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, um, Walking Dead, the one with Michonne and Rick, the ones who lived is that series. All of them are recorded in our library, so you can watch them
The
there. But
entire
also
episodes?
the entire
All of
thing,
them?
all of them are recorded. Um, and they also play over and over again on this channel called Walking Dead Universe. And so they play over 24 hours, um, over and over
I'm
and
gonna
over and over
start it.
again.
You've watched this show for years, and you just sold it to me today.
Years. Yeah, like it really is like it's just one of those shows. And I wish like they didn't treat the Black people like they treated the Black people. So just be prepared. Like the Black people die. But also Michonne, she's the one who lives. 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 So like they figured it out eventually. It took them a while, but they figured it out. But yeah, those shows are just so like in the ways that some people hold up Harry Potter, which I used to. Um those shows have really changed the course of like how I view the world and how I view liberation and breaking the wheel. And I think we can really learn a lot from that. And my constant question is how much further can I push it? How much further can I take the ideas in that show of breaking the wheel, of creating a world beyond? There's a Walking Dead show called The World Beyond. How much further can I push it into the beyond in my lifetime?
Left No Crumbs, and I will be starting that tonight. And because you're such a fan and fanatic of it, I'll be able to talk to you about it throughout. It's 11 seasons, so good luck
Yeah,
to me,
the
you
last season
guys.
isn't great, but the first 4 seasons are like, oh, they're my babies. Also, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in it, and
Mhm.
I love him. He doesn't come in
We
until
love
like season
Denny.
6,
We
but
love
we love
Denny.
him. We love him. Love him. Okay, this is a fun one. So this is a thread. If you want to go to the next slide, I didn't know what to title this, but I thought I saw this thread and I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting." So it says, "Please get better at being wrong, so you can separate your ideas from your identity." I just wanted to get your feedback initially on it. Like, what do you think about that? Ideas from your identity, separating your
Yeah,
ideas from your identity.
this goes back to a perpetual conversation we have in the network about how we love as individuals and within the collective being right. And if your identity is tied to being right all the time and you're not committed to being a lifelong learner, you're setting yourself up to be in a prison of your own making. A lot of you think that your ideas and your ideologies are a personality type. This is how we get MAGA, because they have this idea that Mr. Trump is the way, the truth, and the light. And so they've forced their identity to become this amalgamous type of idea system that's based on excluding people and pushing people out. And I know that a lot of you on TikTok and beyond don't want to talk about it, but just because you have an idea or you think something is right doesn't make it true, especially one that subjugates and pushes people down and punches down on people. And so when someone comes to you and they say, Stephen Miller isn't 4'8" Dr. Flo, I giggled it, and that's not true. That is an idea that was probably made possible by Blue MAGA to discredit the evil that's happening. But if I said no, but I heard and it's probably true, and like I'm a person that is steeped in my righteous indignation, this allows me not to grow. And there are a lot of people who are more committed to being right than being committed to their growth process. And that's harming all of us. So yes, identity politics is real. I mean, the ideas are one thing, and then people who are overly attached to their identities, that creates a whole different ball of wax and can of worms. Because I've told you all publicly in this space that if being Black means being suppressed and ignored and told that I'm uneducated and that I'm not allowed to advocate for my family and friends in productive and positive, non-harming ways, don't call me Black and don't consider me Black. And the Black people go, oh my God, you're just, like my dad used to say, you're not a fan of your people. You're not one of us. You're not tied into your racial identity. You're Uncle Tom. Well, if being Black means that I lack education, I lack the ability to take up space, I lack access to opportunity and well-being for myself, I'm not checking that box. I'd rather be what we say in this network, human first, and move from that place.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was easy. So let's go on over to Threads and see what they are talking about and what's going on over there today. Let's see here. I'm going to share this tab instead. Marjorie Taylor Greene from Blue, Atlanta, Georgia. Marjorie Taylor Greene says this should not be happening. As a member of Congress, we already have a low enough job approval rating. The shutdown is just going to drive everybody's approval rating that much lower. You can tell that she is, once again, they tell you how they feel and they tell you what they're looking for. And we talked many times on this podcast about how Congress and the political theater that we're in right now is all about approval and validation and essentially becoming famous like a Hollywood star would. And we treat all of our politicians in this country as if they are avatars of Hollywood stars. AOC, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jasmine Crockett, Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries, Bernie for sure is a character on many t-shirts. A character. So let's hear what this lady has to say.
We have to work for the American people. And our country is so divided right now. We see it all the time in every single way. It's divided in what I would say very dangerous ways. This should not be happening. And I don't think, look, as a member of Congress, we already have a low enough job approval rating. This shutdown is just going to drive everybody's approval rating that much lower.
But so you're putting the blame on the leadership of your party?
Absolutely. We control the House. We control the Senate. We have the White House. I've been vocal saying, you can use the nuclear option in the Senate. This doesn't have to be a shutdown. But what we have to do is we have to work for the American people. And our country is so divided right now. We see it all the time in every single way. It's divided in what I would say very dangerous ways. This should not be happening. And I don't think, look, as a member of Congress, we're...
Well, and see, this is the thing that, and y'all are going to be like, why is MTG talking, da, 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 da. This is one of those things where I'm like, A, y'all got to realize that America really only has one party. Wake it up. But B, We are not so separate. Like, we're just not. That is a diehard mega human who has some very questionable beliefs, right? Some very
I never
questionable
thought that I
beliefs.
would be agreeing with MGT.
And she's
MTG.
right. She is
And she's
right.
right.
And actually that's the next thing that I was going to bring is the government shutdown, and it's a thread about Marjorie Taylor Greene in this take, because she directly blames the leadership, the Republican leadership, for playing games, right? Because these people that are elected, although they have been, you know, I read another thread today that was like, in order to be a politician, you have to give up, like, you have to give up certain things. We've talked about this many times on this podcast. You have to capitulate, you have to, because you're representing, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. And so you have to give up something that maybe you so desperately believe in. But the reality is that a lot of these people, even though a lot of us make them these big, bad, evil people, right, have just capitulated and wanted to belong, right? But the reality is that they all got into this. Why? Most politicians, that at least at the state level and at the House and the Senate level, maybe not the presidency, but most of these people got into politics because they wanted to help people. And we just have a disagreement on how we're helping people, right? The really true uncomfortable thing that a lot of y'all don't want to believe about MAGA people is that even though they are racist, even though they are xenophobic, even though they are homophobic, even though they are transphobic, even though they are all of these things, what they want at their root is for their people to be okay. And that is the same as every left-leaning person that you have ever talked to. That is the same as every Black person that you've ever talked to. That is the same as every white person that you've ever talked to. We are not different. Even MTG is not different. And I like, that is the part that I really need people to start believing. It is not that MAGA hates everyone. It is that MAGA feels like that is their best way. The promises that have been made to them, that they have chosen to belong to, these beliefs that they have gone down, is simply because they want their people to be okay. That's it. Because the world sucks. Because the world is treating all of us. All of us. None of us are immune. No matter your color of skin, no matter your sexuality, none of us are immune. Even the billionaires. Flo talks about this all the time. How many billionaires have we seen unalive themselves? How many celebrities have we seen unalive themselves? It affects everyone. And all of us just want to be okay. All of us just want to heal. All of us just want to be loved. All of us just want to belong. So when we stop demonizing each other and we stop idolizing these people that are in Congress, we make a difference and we agree with a person like MTG. And again, I'm not saying that her policies are all like, I'm not like, yeah, I really want MTG. Like, I want to hear more from her. No, but I can agree with this statement. I can. Because she's right. She's right. So there it is. That's the clip we just watched. It says, wow, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene just told CNN she blames Speaker Johnson and Majority Leader Thune, I don't know how to say his name, for the shutdown, not Democrats.
Well, well, well. Look what we have here. Well, well, well. Look at what we have here. Y'all, we got to go co-work and cook these dreams, because make that money. Don't let that money make you. Okay? And Tara in her studio and I and the Academy and Network have lots of revenue to recoup as we move forward on these loved and lovable dreams.
Sorry, the way you phrased that made me think of, and I and my cap settled down for a long winter's nap.
Trust me, it is a long winter. But we've got great ideas and we've got people in place and we are in place in order to make it happen, but not before telling you that we deserve a ceasefire now in our hearts. We deserve a ceasefire now in our communities, in our workplaces, in our networks, in our families. We can put down our weapons and lean into what it means to be loved and lovable, and to have that extend into what we call here our happy, healthy, and free. And so if you're out there today and you're feeling a spiritual warfare or a physical warfare in your environment, we invite you to relax, to chill out, to recognize what's real. What's real is that you have everything in your hands right now, and I have everything in my hands right now to produce an amazing miracle for ourselves, ergo, into the world. And we're happy to be leaders in this loved and lovable movement. Tara often tells me, to my chagrin and also empowerment, that leaders go first. And so as it relates to liberation and doing the things that we say we want to do with our lives, as opposed to suffering in silence or suffering in complaint, we have to lead. We have to go and ask for help and not stop asking until we get it. We're worthy. We're worthy of having a life that's not embattled. We're worthy of having a life that's not toxic. We're worthy of having an existence that's just as calm as Brother Moose, if we would only allow it. If we would only allow it. Let's tell people about our programs. Right now, I've heard from over 15 of you who would like to be inducted into the Adopt a Black Artist program. I'm actually trying to figure out how I want to rename this, because I don't simply want to work with Black artists going forward. I love Black creatives. I love Black entrepreneurs. I love Black business leaders. Anybody Black, we will adopt and help you raise your dream. And so the artist part could be shifting. Of course, I'm having this private boardroom meeting moment on a live stream in front of the world. But
You
I
gotta
am
say what's
seeing,
on your mind, girl. Like,
yeah, I mean, the gentleman who lives in the neighborhood who does a grilling operation and of culinary services, yeah, he is an artist to me, because I believe that no matter what your path is and whatever your profession or vocation, you are an artist in life. You're creating and co-creating with the universe. But he may not consider himself an artist as I call him into the program that could support him. So I'll be working with our robots later today and in our peer supporting co-working experience to see how we can zhuzh that up a bit.
very
But for
black
now,
word, that one. Zhuzh. Very black.
zhuzh.
Very black.
But I didn't learn that from Black people.
It's not from black people. I think it's a Jewish word. I think it's a Yiddish. I think it's Yiddish.
Zhuzh. To zhuzh it
Zhuzh.
up. You know, I'm a multicultural
Zhuzh.
being. I was socialized around a lot of things. But if you are out there in the world and you need support, front of house, back of house, strategic planning, marketing, business development as a Black person or a so-called Black person, self-identifying Black person on the planet, we would love to work with you and help you grow. Some of our services are premium, meaning that you pay us out the gate and we provide that service. And then for other people, there are opportunities for you to get the service done for you and then just get us on the flip side once you come into your abundance. And we are grateful to be able to be present to every Black person that wants to grow, build, and develop their dream. We also offer daily peer support in our programs. I mentioned this earlier, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central is our daily general peer support group. And then throughout the week on our calendar at lovedandlovable.bio.link, 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 we have opportunities for you to get peer support in the areas of auditioning, performance, interviewing, job acquisition. If you reach out to us and tell us that you want to be supported, we will build a program for you to make sure that you get supported, because there's so many people, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands on the planet who are not being supported in their dreams. And we can meet you eyeball to eyeball, heart to heart, soul to soul, and make sure that you get what you need out here on the planet for you, girl. Also, Love City Arts Creative Services Group is providing admin and support services for creatives and leaders all over the planet. If you have project management needs or clerical services needs, or just someone to talk to about how to build your business and your community for you, we would love to hear from you also at lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link. Here's a gratuitous photo of me in my quantum field. It's not who you are in the moment. It's where you are going. It's where you are going. I'm also hiring for Dr. Flo and the Love Experience. If you'd like to be a part of something bigger than yourself as we unite the talents of diverse artists and celebrate the power of love through music, theater, and art, we would love to hear from you over on the website. We're hiring for a bunch of positions. We will be bringing those into focus over on our social media platforms. And Tara has some amazing things coming up. Take it away.
So we've got TPS Community Commons, which is the renamed WhatsApp community so that I can be whole, but it includes liberation conversations as well as blackening the canon. I would love to see some more researchers, some more people that are passionate about like actually blackening the canon. I love having performers in there. I would love to have more teachers and more people that are really seeking to move this forward as opposed to getting advice from me on what to sing. I am a teacher and I do love that discussion, but I am only one person. So it would be great to have more voices in that conversation. And then, of course, as we talked about liberation, everybody's journey is different. And I want to keep that conversation going, right? Like, what is liberatory to you? So come on in there. And that will also be the place for voice memberships if you're interested in working on your voice, but you are low on time or low on budget. That is a place for you with no judgment. It is still my highest level teaching. And connected to that, I have Freedom Fridays, which is a completely free day in Tara Priolo Studio, where you can come in for a 15-minute or 30-minute session just to align with whatever idea you have, align with a piece, align with your branding, any of that. All, like I said earlier, if you believe I can help you on it, I can. Right. And then this Friday, because I had some self-doubt on Monday, this Friday, I am posting the Lift the Joy Masterclass replay. That'll go live on my Substack as well as my YouTube channel at 5 p.m. Central. So be on the lookout for that if you missed that masterclass.
And it's okay. We teach this within our network and we encourage each other as peer leaders here in the network. It is okay to have bouts of extreme self-doubt. It is even okay to stop moving on the plans that you're moving on. That is completely fine. That's very human. No one should be guilting you or toxically shaming you about having a delay in your
Right.
process, because we recognize that a delay is not a denial.
Right.
We're waiting on information right now. It's just a delay. It's not a denial. And if you can get knocked down 9 times and get up 10, if you can get knocked down 22 times and get up 23, you are going to be okay. This is a resilience game.
Right.
This is, do you feel loved and lovable enough within yourself to keep going in the things that you want to do? A lot of us are being discredited or ridiculed in professions and environments that aren't even our truest calling. And we recognize, as always, in my closing thought today, that all of life is a movement towards your wholeness. That's Dr. Florence Scovel Shinn. All of life is a movement towards your wholeness. Didn't feel like it on Monday, didn't feel like it on Tuesday, didn't feel like it on last Sunday or the Sunday before that or the Sunday before that. All of that is still pushing you and moving you and calling you forward into your wholeness. In our community, we greet each other. Wholeness Tara, wholeness Flo, wholeness Poppy, wholeness Angie, wholeness Deidre, wholeness Nisi, wholeness Dolly, wholeness Dr. Shara, wholeness to everybody, because life is moving you towards it. If you step into it loved and lovable, you're going to be A-OK. And sometimes in your life, the math ain't right. But your daddy called love will intervene every time. What are
Every
your
time.
thoughts, Tara?
The joy is the revolution. That's simply it. That joy is the whole revolution. And if we can find a way to share our joy, the world will change. Truly. That all it takes is the simple act, right? A random act of kindness. Arc. Did y'all ever see that? Isn't that Bruce Almighty or something? It's either Bruce Almighty or Evan Almighty. A random act of kindness, a random act of joy is all that it takes to challenge the status quo. And if we think about it being that simple, we might actually move something. Might actually move towards that wholeness and allowing everybody else to be whole.
We thank you with infinite gratitude for watching today's Love and Action Deconstruction Junction, filmed on October the 9th, 2025, and holding space for love daily as you do with that within our network. We have been live today over on Facebook, YouTube. This will go up on our Substack and subsequently our Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcasts for our hundreds of listeners around the world as we celebrate 100 weeks of encouraging, equipping, and empowering believers of all walks to place their time, talent, and treasure into something good. And so on behalf of Tara Paolo Studio, Poppy Water 33, and myself, Ask Dr. Phil, on all platforms on our leadership team, and the whole of Love and Action Network, we invite you, as always, to stay in your power. Stay in your power. Stay in your joy. Stay loved and lovable. And we will see you very, very soon within our network. Have a great day, everybody.